Long summer?
Oh yeah, this weather is just too great.
Yeah, man, beautiful. Yeah, it's
amazing.
Yeah,
I heard from Barry took his wife to the lakefront today.
Nah.
I'm like, what? Y'all going to the lake cruising? I heard that one. But hey, somehow we managed to have. I mean, it was fairly warm summer. Not a lot of rain, and we're going into the second week of October, and we literally have great weather. I mean, pretty good weather. I mean, I can't complain. What you say?
Yeah, I know. I ride my motorcycle, so that's beautiful.
Either that or we're gonna have a bad winter.
Oh, that's just saying that before.
Yeah, a bad winter. I don't. Yeah.
I saw something on the news the other day. I don't know how true. They said it was a caterpillar, and the length of the darkness on the caterpillar determines how mild the winter is going to be.
Really?
Yeah, and so the length of the darkness on it was true, then based off this caterpillar's coloring, it's going to be a mild winter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I'll tell you this much. Due to global warming or climate change, whatever they want to call it, we ain't had a bad winter in decades.
Not that bad. Not since what the Snowmageddon of
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I think that was just correcting the system right there. Some people were shut in for a day or so without. But I don't know. It's just a weird setup.
Yeah, today.
Oh, did anybody experience problems with your internet and the cell phones and all this the last couple of days?
Yeah, it's been acting crazy.
Man, all this stuff's been acting crazy. But you know what I found out it was?
What?
A massive solar flare. See, they didn't even tell us. The media didn't tell us. The authorities didn't tell us. The last time we had a massive solar flare, and it takes a while for it to reach Earth, it shuts the communications down, the satellites. All it is like a big spike from the sun, like a big, what do you want to call it, explosion? Like an explosion, yeah. An explosion that the sun had. And it takes, I guess, light years to get here, right? What's a light year in reality? It's instantaneous and forever. Because by the time, whenever we received it, it was thousands of years before, right? That's how it works. And we just received it. But nevertheless, they said it was a massive solar flare from the sun, or what they call it. Yeah, I think that's what they call it. And I'm like, it's got to be because I've had so many problems with my phone, with my internet, my TV, anything that was tied to satellite.
Yeah.
And now that you said that you've had it, I'm like, no,
I didn't notice anything.
No, not really. Maybe it's the carriers in the satellite that was on.
Yeah, my stuff been acting all crazy.
Yeah, like you got to reset it.
Yeah.
Your phones are going off Wi-Fi. But nevertheless, just a little question to the viewers, as you say. What else is on? So first, yeah, we were just saying that on Parkside and Potomac last weekend, which would have been the last weekend in September. I think it was. Yeah, it would have been last weekend in September. That Saturday, there was 2 people shot there. One in the leg, I think, and one in the foot. And the police were canvassing the 1300 block with the detectives. I was the first time I ever seen that many detectives out. They had about 4 or 5 detectives going door to door. GCOs were out, sergeants were out, and They were literally going door to door. Also, they had made mention that it's from Venezuela. So I'm going, okay, well, where they at? You know, are they on the block or did they just come through the block? You know what I mean?
That
Did
night,
you know they were gonna canvass, Steve?
Hmm.
Did you know that they were gonna canvass?
Did I know?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, they called me and asked me, did I hear anything? I'm like, no. Drove over there and saw Normalini and Dora and
I don't know
yeah,
if it's anybody else, but you fading in and out on my end. I don't know if it's happening with anybody else or not, but
Oh.
you're fading in and out.
Yeah, I hear it.
you hear it. Okay, hold on. Let me get
fading.
my mic better. Can you turn me up a little more, maybe? Or what? Just get closer. I need to be a little closer to the mic.
No, it should be.
Is that better? Better, y'all?
That's
Yes.
better.
Okay, it might have been my mic. Where's my mic? My mic wasn't reaching. Yeah, I said that that Sergeant Novelini was out, Dora was out, and also Lily was out from the DCOs. And they had called me and told me that, no, we get that report.
No.
You don't get the reports no more?
No.
Yeah, well, oh, I know why. Yeah, because they send it by your DCA.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
they send it by the DCA because I usually get the reports up there by my house, over by my house more than anything. But this particular
social bonds in high school. We interviewed all the outcasts from back then. This guy's lived through it. Outcasts eventually formed friendships, but this answer was the outcasts rejected. He won't stand out in capacity. As a matter of fact, most of his fellow students probably won't even remember graduating with him. And that invisibility is what made him attractive to Slade. His partner wouldn't steal the spotlight. Slade targeted the cafeteria because most of the names on his list ate there together during fifth degree. So his hatred festered when the names on the list emerged from the cafeteria as media heroes. And now he wants to finish the job that really started. Emotionally, this weekend is more a high school reunion to him than a memorial. We go to reunions to show who we grew up to be. Often that means changing everything about who we were. Consciously or not, Brandon Slade revealed clues as to his partner's identity when he detonated his bomb. Agent Prentice will be conducting cognitive interviews to see what the survivors might remember. Wants to walk through what happened that day?
Didn't we do that when we were seniors? Yes, but there may be some details that you didn't think were important at the time that could help us now. Things that could help us learn about the partner.
Randy made us all lie face down. I didn't see anything.
None of us did.
Well, that's not true. Jerry did. He's the guy Randy made lock the doors. Yeah, it is.
The interviews we're going to conduct won't focus on what you saw, but what you felt. You want me to tell you how I felt? Licking the tile in the cafeteria? Thanks, I do that in therapy twice a week. How about how I feel now, seeing my name on a list of people who should be dead? Boise police have offered everyone on this list a protected detail. I that would have done Chelsea any good. She was killed in her hotel room. Jerry's not on the list. Let him help you. I'm out.
Ever get volunteered for a job you don't want?
So, as you can see from your board there, this kill list is weirdly similar to high school. Group 1 is like the popular kids, prom board, football teams listed, the Heathers. Well,
Kids in Slade's social circle.
what about number 2?
Yeah, we can't hear y'all. There's somebody TV playing. Yeah, y'all on? Yeah. Hello. Steve. DeAndre. Guys. Yo, Steve, you muted. You muted, Steve.
Yeah, we hear each other, but we can't hear them.
Steve, you muted.
How about now?
Yeah, now you got a reverb though. You went muted again, or y'all trying to fix it?
Yeah, they trying to set it up. Okay,
Oh,
there you
okay.
go. Better.
Yeah, y'all good.
Yeah, we got this now. The way we go. But what I was trying to tell you, yeah, that was a strange situation yesterday, because there was just so many. There was so many police cars just going. It seemed like it went on for 15 minutes. They were just zooming at me, and all of a sudden it kind of quieted down around about 10 o'clock. I didn't see any cars. I went to step out and look towards the vision. I didn't see any flashing lights. Traffic looked like it was moving, back and forth. So I assumed that everything was over, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Somebody did call and tell me. They said, "Don't go down that way because something's going on," which I didn't understand what that was. But guess we'll find out details later.
I also noticed that there's a police trailer at is that Home Depot on Armitage? Is that Armitage and Cicero?
Really?
Steve, you mute.
I am again. You see, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Mike's a little farther away. That's something to check out. Police trailer, huh? As in Chicago police?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it. I think that was Friday.
Right. That's interesting. I don't know what that could be about. Because that's what is that, Hermosa area? Yeah, let's call that Hermosa. I don't think, Belmont Cragen is the other side. That's Hermosa. There must be some incidents going on there for the police trailer. But these days, it's so much going on. I got word, let me see, it would have been today, would have been 3 weeks ago, down on the south end of Austin, 5200 block of Gladys. The Venezuela shot up his house. They had a for sale sign on it, which they claimed that some Venezuelans was staying in there. I don't know if they was sitting. And then this was in the wee hours. They came 1, 2 in the morning. Then at the same time, around about the same time, on the 5200 block of Quincy, that's the shoot up. But nobody got shot. These are cases. Then on Adams in the same 100. I'm like, what was that about? Well, 3 blocks almost in a row, but just shooting. And I don't know where they were shooting, other than the one place, which was into a house. But I mean, all in all, it gets to be a little nerve-wracking. People just shooting in their homes and shooting up and down the street randomly, and you don't know. Crazy. They said a lady shot a guy on the what line is that go up towards Howard Street?
Red.
The red line goes to Howard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know that. Wow. Yeah. They did say the red line.
Yeah, red.
So the red line goes all the way south and all the way north.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they showed the street was like Tui or something.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, the red line.
She shot a minor.
I thought they had pretty good block clubs on Quincy, from like Laramie to Central. I thought they had pretty strong block clubs in that area.
They pretty much do. I know the guy that 5200, Mr. Tompkins. The leader's supposed to be the leader in 53, 54, but there's some mumbling and rumbling in the jungle on that one by her. And then in the 5500, there's supposed to be somebody that's been there for quite a while. But Mr. Tompkins had been complaining for years about issues in the 200. Ever since Parham was in there, he was complaining about not getting enough support and coverage. But I don't know. I've been on the block. I've been on that block 1, 2, 3 times already, and it seemed to be the only issue is that one big multi-unit right on the corner of Laramie and Quincy. And I'm not gonna say that's a problem. The only issue is I think it's in between management or owners, and the ownership lost the place or something, and the garbage disposal company came and took all the dumpsters away, and people were throwing trash just outside on the ground. So the city had to come in and bring some garbage cans, which that's what they're there for, to protect the rest of the, to protect everybody. So that was it, but been on the block. It seemed to be pretty peaceful. Got an older woman on the block, Miss Johnson. She got to be, if not 90, 89. She had some complaints about a tree. They got the local guys that do what they do on the block. But all in all, the old timers, they've been there. I met a lady, she's been there 50-some years. She's still in the house over there since the 70s or something. But most of the people, that's the thing. Most of the people down on the what we want to say, we'll just say the South End because it ain't called the South End. They got a lot of longevity there. Them people been there, man, since the 60s, 68. I think the earliest was 62 from what I heard, which is really hard to believe, but hey, they said it, I believe it. And you know what I find to be, and Deanna, you tell me this, because you farther south you can go on, Is there always helicopters down there?
I don't think like it's always about
No.
That might be.
Okay. What about a lot of roaming and roving police squads with lights? That you see? No. Not on.
Well, not in the island areas. That's a complaint. I mean, just like every area. I got talking about they don't see enough police officers.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Man.
But I guess I'm a little bit attuned to seeing police, so I see them ride down Austin. I see them ride through the blocks. I always see them at the gas station right there, the fast gas station with the donut joint. I see them there all the time. So I be seeing them perched. It's just, people in the community feel like they don't see them. I see them though.
Right. Well, I just tell
in the island. But South, I would say, I mean, obviously you count South, you definitely count in Madison.
Man.
So you're always gonna see them on Madison.
And I see
always on Madison.
I see them cherries lit up on Laramie. I see them lit up on Central.
Mm-hmm.
I see them lit up on Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, then I look in the sky, I see helicopters just hovering all the time. And then they go a little west, and they come back towards Cicero.
But they be cutting up right over there though. That's where they cut up at.
I literally seen the helicopter one day track a car because the car hit about, 50 yards in front of me. The car came speeding down the street, hit the corner, went down on Lotus, heading north. Lotus is the north street, off of Jackson. Came off of Jackson from Columbus Park, hit Lotus going north, and the helicopter had just kind of came that way. Then shortly after that, the police car came.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that helicopter was following that car, and it went right over, where things happening. That's all I can tell you. And it's amazing to me how they put up a camera. They got a camera right on Lotus and Adams, which that camera can see all the way to Madison. And probably can see all the way to Harrison too. And you got guys doing what they do on Monroe, in Lotus. We got guys doing what they do on, well, I ain't gonna say Quincy, because I didn't really see it on Quincy. But I know Adams was a little juicy and hot. But definitely Monroe.
Well, they really doing what they doing on the 48 and the 4900 block on Monroe as well. But DeAndre, that house that they had raided, they got that house secure now. They got it secure. But there's another spot. You know, them the boys moved from there. They moved down to the 4900 block at the end. But I have to say, the police have been going through there more frequently now. Stuff is still happening, but they going through there more frequently now. I was over there earlier today, and while I was over there, I saw 2 cars go by. So they are trying to monitor the area. But you know, if they got people where they can hide that stuff, it makes it difficult.
Yeah. There was a lady died in a fire about 2 weeks down there on 5000 block of Quincy.
In the 4900 block of Quincy.
What's that?
In that it's like a Courtway building, right? It's actually right next to our Mercy Garden. Is right next to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was trying to get yeah, man, I was trying to get G2 to come. You know, that's sometimes I only like him to go through third party. You know, he got his scheduler. You know, so sometimes that'd be a little difficult. So I'm gonna try to just get his number. I'm gonna get it from Angelique and go, because we only got 3 weeks left until the election. Well, no, about a month. A month.
We already early voting started.
Yeah, but early voting started. Yeah.
Early last week.
And mail in as well, because I've already voted.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So it'll be, hopefully we can get them to talk about it, man. Especially in light of the new shakeup. Y'all see that the whole board resigned at one time. Whole school board. Yeah. Never in the history of Chicago has that happened, which is crazy, man. Yeah. Which is crazy, man. Like, man.
But there's gonna be a new board anyway, right?
Well, you're gonna get a half elected board, and you won't get the other half until 27. Yeah, January is when half is gone. So you're gonna get 10 this time around. You're gonna get 11 in 27 when everybody runs again, or at least that half runs. Mm-hmm. So it's just a bad look, though. You know, it's just a bad look. That's all.
So is this all based on the guy? What's the guy? His name, this Hispanic guy.
Pedro Martinez. Vote for Pedro.
And Pedro is again. Who is he again?
He's the CEO of CPS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
he's the fall balance of today.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't necessarily categorize him that way. He's the CEO, but
what's Paul Vallis the CEO?
He's CEO or superintendent?
No, he's the CEO.
CEO, okay.
The thing is, Martinez, even if they get well, he still will be there 6 months.
And they're gonna have to pay him a severance.
Yeah, pay him a severance. Huh? It's just a bad look.
It's just bad. Unfortunately, this is just.
Today, somebody's been asked to resign. That's even worse. Ask the mayor to resign.
Really?
Church, man, trying to see who it is, you know, they
pull your mic a little.
Yeah, you know that ain't happening, but
there you go.
It makes me think, though. You know, I've been sitting back thinking, like, you know, politicians, they have to be great negotiators. They have to be great connectors and great collaborators. Like, if you don't have that as a politician, you're almost doomed to fail.
Well, fail to do to be doomed.
Yeah, because a lot of the reports are suggesting that that's the precise issue that our mayor has to deal with.
And
So DeAndre, how are they keeping, or do you know, I should say, how are they keeping parents involved, so they'll know, when the school council needs to be voted on, all these kind of things like that? I don't have a grandchild in CPS, so I don't know.
You know, interesting question. Me neither. And well, you know what? I do have a child at CPS, so and honestly, we haven't gotten anything. Now that I sit and think about it, we have not gotten anything. We got, we get stuff about our daughter and the particular school she's in, whether it's like a local school council gathering or parent teacher organization gathering or whatever she's doing for class, in class, blah, blah, blah. But we have gotten nothing about the school race at all. So that's interesting. So I don't know if that's across the board, but I can say that we as a family have not gotten anything. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little sad that, and I'm pretty sure they can e-blast stuff out. I'm sure the state CPS has that capability, but people don't know what they don't know. Everybody does not look at the news. So, I mean, people have to be informed, and I don't know how we keeping people informed. When there's a breakdown in communication, that's the first thing where things start to go haywire.
Yeah. Well, like Arnold said, they're not really supposed to engage in the electoral process. So maybe that's just part of it, honestly. I mean, I can't remember a time where I seen CPS send anything out about elections, and I'm going to go and say that's probably the work of the organizer. That's why you had a Brandon Johnson employee, as a CTU organizer, so that folks could be aware of things like that. And I'm sure other organizers for CTU are supposed to be the ones out hitting the pavement, letting folks know about these elections. So it probably wouldn't come from internally through CPS, as Arnold was saying, but it will probably come through the union's organizing base. Yeah.
Fact knowledge is funding education.
Yeah, I would say tax dollars fund education, so they can't be involved in politics. That makes sense.
I mean, is it me or it just seems like this is a totally different set of chaos with schools. Usually, schools, what you hear is a strike. But I'm just saying, it's a weird setup.
Well,
there seems to be a disconnect between the school board, which of course we know is Brandon, and the general public and the school board. Nobody seems to be on the same page. Nobody seems to be relating whatever is going on to the parents of these students. It's just, like you say, chaos. I don't know what Brandon is doing, but according to the media, he wants this guy out because he didn't approve a contract for financing a high interest rate loan to bail out the school, the teachers for their pay. But the problem I have, all they have to do is make these teachers pay for their pensions like everybody else do, and that'll help alleviate some of the financial burden on us. Because, they need to pay for their pension. I paid for mine. And I don't see why they can't pay for theirs. And that's my problem.
The other component or group you didn't add in were teachers, because the teachers are complaining too.
What are they complaining about?
Being overworked, overloaded, not enough pay, too many students, you name it.
I
Yeah.
can agree with all of that, but there should be a way to work that out without having all of this mumbo jumbo going on. All they have to do is sit down and think, how can we solve this problem? How can we?
I know a teacher that said she got 78 or 75 students. I said, how you get that? That ain't even legal.
Not in one class.
That's what I told her. I said, there's no way in one class. I guess she said she was splitting it between two, with another assistant or something. And now that throughout the day, she has a total of 78 or 75 students. And I'm like, okay.
5 classes, 15 students a class.
But this is the other thing. She said she has 8th graders and 4th graders in the same, I don't know if it was math or English or something. I'm like, how is that even possible? They're two different learning.
I think that's my biggest issue with the whole thing is there's not a whole lot of sense being made within the Chicago public school system as itself. And you have the union that are constantly pushing for more, and they're saying in the name of the student, but when you look at CPS as a whole, you see a lot of failing for these students, unless they're at some of the top schools, and then especially our neighborhood schools, and they'll say, well, that's the injustice that neighborhood schools on the south and west sides are facing, and divestment and things like that, and that's probably true, but I don't. It's almost like I feel like we've been saying that for forever. So at what point as these contract negotiations come up, do we start to shift the more money that's coming in to these schools? Like, what is actually happening? Somebody got to give us a breakdown of how come these things just don't seem to get funneled to our neighborhood schools.
This is the reality. Chicago public schools have been a system of chaos, horror, underfunding. The inner city ones definitely, the more less affluent ones have been underpaid, or not underpaid, but underfunded since I was going there.
Right.
And I'm like, I would think it would have gotten better, but obviously that ain't did nothing to support anything. Bertha, you got your hand up? What you got?
Let's look at 2 high schools in Austin, Michelle Clark and Austin High School. There's a lot of money put into Michelle Clark. Right. Can you imagine if those kids have feelings? What kind of money is going into Austin? What is happening with those kids at Austin? They just built a new football field for Michelle Clark. If they would invest in those kids in Austin as well, maybe those children would do something. But if those kids have behaviors, and okay, let's say it's 75 kids in their class, it might be a child in there that's outstanding, but if the teacher has 75 students, that's too many for one thing. But if you have a child with a behavior problem that's disrupting the class, you're at a disadvantage. They really need to look at what's happening in Austin. I just feel, I don't know, sad that it's almost like you comparing kids one against the other. And that's so sad.
Right. Well, let's start with Austin High School. That's your alma mater, DeAndre. How many students was there when you were going to school?
When we were in the school, we had. I'll say this: our incoming freshman class was over 1,000.
Wow.
There were over 1,000 kids. That was 2001. There were over 1,000 kids that were for our freshman class. We graduated with a third. We graduated with 300.
Right.
Some maybe 293 or something like that. Can't remember, but yeah. So us being just 1,000, you can imagine that we had obviously
Now, you don't even have 1,000 Austin students in 5 years.
Man, that's a fact. Yeah.
They come through there.
Yeah. And what was that, 2020 when I was working there? We only had 120 or something like that.
Oh, yeah?
What's the
140.
What's the school on what? Parkside of Waller only have what? 80?
Are you talking about Douglas?
Doug,
Shit, Douglas only got
and
40.
this scheduled to close in this year, right? No,
Well-
end of the school term.
Well, that was the biggest. I think that's one of the things that has been in the news as well, is that they were saying that Douglas was not Douglas, but some of the underperforming, under-resourced, underutilized schools were going to be closed, and Douglas and Austin weren't on that list. And they were upset. CTU was, because they were saying that Pedro said that he would not close any schools, but the simple fact of the matter is that he's looking and examining what schools should be closed, gives reason to believe that he was going to do that anyway. Although he was saying that they were going to take a vote, I suppose that vote was suspended. Now I don't know how they're going to do it. They were going to wait until 2027, but they're on a moratorium anyway. By the state, we can't close any schools until next year. I think January of next year, in fact. And so it wouldn't. So I say all that to say, I mean, man, when you look at this thing as a business, which, you know, it's sad to say, you don't want to look at the education and lives of children as a business, but when money's involved, it's a business. So you would never, as a business owner, have multiple locations and one is just failing, and you're just gonna leave it open. Right. You would never do that. You know what I mean? You would never do that.
But the thing of it is, though, DeAndre, how many of those students at Michelle Clark actually live in Austin? Honestly. Now, see, Michelle Clark has a lot to offer. They look good to any student who wants to do anything. How many of those students actually live in Austin? So even if it's next year, you're closing Douglas or Austin, and you have kids that can't get in Michelle Clark because Michelle Clark is getting students from all over everywhere else. Where are those babies supposed to go?
Well, according to what I was looking at when they were talking about, because essentially this list that they created was about consolidation. And it did look like some of them were going to end up at Michelle Clark. Now, the problem that presents is in our community, our kids can't cross boundary lines. So if you're talking about sending kids to Austin, from Austin, for example, to Michelle Clark that can't cross certain boundary lines, you're talking about recipe for disaster. Same thing with Douglas.
I agree with that. That's why they need to invest in those high schools, just like they invest in Michelle Clark. I agree with you. They can't cross boundaries. I agree, but those kids should be allowed the same they should be allowed the same opportunities as everybody else. I just think we're failing our children in a lot of ways, but that's just my opinion.
I think it all happened when what is that called, open enrollment? What do they call it? Open enrollment or
selective
enrollment? Mm. When that all happened, that's when all this started to go that way, which allowed any kid in any area to go to any school in any area
if they were able to test it.
Well, that's always been the thing, testing, right? Yeah. Even when I was going to high school, that was the case.
You know, it's just like Bill. Those children that go to Bill, most of them are bused in from other areas. So our problem children in our community don't have access to those resources because they're taking the kids from somewhere else. Our children in Austin is being failed, and it's sad.
Yeah, I think so. For me, I've said this for some years now. Austin High School should just get revamped as a fully technical school, period. And when we talk about school choice, our children should have the ability, if they want to go to Michelle Clark and be in band and do football and be in debate and this one and that one, go there for that. But if our kids are on the path to fixing cars and welding and being in construction and baking and sewing and doing whatever else, they should go to Austin for that. That's how we should start looking at this. That's what we need. We need real school models that actually look like the real world in which we're gonna be living in. You know what I mean? Like, and make that the selective enrollment. Let students and their parents select which course of action they're gonna take. All of these kids ain't going to college, and now college is overrated. And I'm saying that as a doctor. I would never send my child to college if she's not going for a specialty. It wouldn't happen. I'm not sending them for anything that's not a specialty. So
community college free.
man, that's it. You can go. Yeah, I see the community college. I'll let you go for those two years for the free, and then if you want to make a decision beyond that. But I will always persuade against it, only because if you're not going to be in a science or go get you a law degree or go get something in which you actually have to be college educated, then not. And so I say all that to say, that's one of the things that our students are looking at. They're looking at our students are geared towards the flashy. It's flashy. They're not. So you're not going to be able to entice them with college anymore. So you got to be able to look at the landscape for what it is and give them real options that could be something that's excitable for them. And I think we have to have a fully developed trade-only school. Only trade. Only trade. So we got to look at different models now.
Right. Well,
I'm thinking the problem with our whole school system is too much politics. The politicians determine who gets the most money, like Michelle Clark. None of that is coming directly from the parents or from the community. It's coming from the politicians and the school board. Who decides whether Michelle Clark get a new football stadium? They could be the worst team in the United States, and they get a new stadium where our children, like at Austin and the other Marshall, can't even get computers or anything they need to help them. Now, who's behind all of this? I'm thinking it's the politician and how much weight they have. What is all of that noise? But that's how I feel. It's too political. They need to step out and let other people handle it. And at Michelle Clark, it's not what you know, but it's who you know, who can push you in there. I don't know how their academics are. I don't know.
We have an IB program.
breaking up on the Facebook side.
I can't hear you, Arnold.
They have an international baccalaureate program.
Which one? Who?
At Michelle Clark.
Yeah.
So that's bringing, some money and like you said, improvements and upgrades. I mean, obviously, there's some data that could back up the improvement. Now, do I know it for certain? I don't know. But they wouldn't have made them upgrades and improvements if, the results or the data wasn't proven that it was needed and they're getting the results that they're looking for.
This is just my opinion. Michelle was not always a flourishing school. Mr.
No.
Anderson has done a great job at Michelle Clark, and Mr. Anderson has been in that seat for a very long time. I applaud him for what he's done at Michelle Clark. But let's look at Austin. How many principals has Austin had, even in the last 5 years?
Man, wow.
You know, that is absolutely ridiculous. You need to have somebody who's gonna come to that school and turn it around. Mr. Anderson, I'm not trying to take anything from Mr. Anderson or Michelle Clark. I am just saying that everybody should have been afforded the same opportunities. And maybe those kids at Austin or Douglas would be performing better. But if you, just like the 15th district commander, how many have we had? I don't even go to the 15th district anymore. Too many. Oh, I'm staying here. Then you getting it, then they gone. These kids need some stability. Hell, if I get tired of people changing that quick at 64, just think about these kids. These kids are being left behind. All that No Child Left Behind and all of that. These babies are the ones that's gonna suffer later in life. They're the ones, they can't read and write. They can't sign a check. These babies are gonna be the ones that suffer. And it's sad. It has to change.
Well, first, speaking of kids and curricular or test scores, it appears with the competition that's going on getting that kid who will, make a difference, not only in their community, but their school and data, because everything is data driven. You got Jesuit on Jackson. What's that other school right next to?
Christ King.
Christ the King. You have the school right across from Dodge. That an organization out of Oak Park, I think, bought it.
Oh, from Douglas.
From Douglas.
He's about the field school.
The field school. And I mean, there's other examples where there's such a competition out here. The parents, they have to think of safety, but curriculum and a whole lot of other concerns. So their choice would be other than a public school. And if they can get in and get corporate sponsorship or subsidized some kind of way, they'd rather their children go there versus an Austin or any public school. So they know there they're going to get the best, not what's left. So
I don't think I made my point, because I understand everything you saying, Arnold, but apparently I'm not making a point, so I'm just gonna let it go.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I've been over at Michelle Clark, past and present. His presence, I'm speaking of Dr. Anderson, makes a tremendous difference. We need more Dr. Anderson.
Yeah. So,
but I don't know where they're gonna come from or who they're gonna get. Get somebody or go out and do marketing to bring in someone.
And I think this is one of those things where, again, if we have to have some pushback on CCU and the things that they're asking for, we as community should be asking for that.
Right.
We should be asking for stabilized leadership. It's no different than the police station, because, like Ms. Bertha said, you're right. Commander Morse has already said he's going to retire. He's at retirement age. He's going to retire. He's probably going to be here maybe another year, if that. You know what I mean? So we're going to lose him, sooner than later. And we're going to have another person that's going to come in, and they're going to have a different style and approach. And who knows if they're going to be as community oriented and really want to keep the thing going and often as it is. And that's the exact same thing that is happening with the school system as it's structured right now. You'll have a principal for maybe 2 years, 3 years, not even 3 years, probably 2. and they have a way of doing things, so you bring another one, you know, and then we also got to look at, well, what is how would you say, what's progress? What does that look like? What does success look like? You know, because some schools may want you to focus on the child's attendance. Others may want you to focus on their grades. Others still may want you to focus on what type of, how would you call it, like extra, not even extra, like what's the classes called? Like
AP?
no, not like AP, but you know, not your standard curriculum classes, but your extra classes outside of it. Like let's say you were to offer like Kiana in Dallas, she does medical, right? So that's a elective. That's what I'm trying to say. Electives. You know what I mean? So like, what kind of electives can you come up with? You know what I mean? So it's and different leaders are gonna have different ideas. So if we as communities should be pushing back on CTU, like, hold on though, where is the stabilization in our community?
But could it just be that certain professions just have big turnover in this day and age?
Not that.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they don't have to.
I mean, realistically,
everything is policy, so it's whatever's written. You know what I'm saying?
Realistically, how many people want to be cops? And how many people trying to get away from being cops?
Right. Well, that's different. But in the school context, though, you know, some of these people have given their lives to be educated. You know what I mean? And so, you know, you would like for there to be some consistency there. You know, at least for the students concerned. Because hell, even when I was in Austin, we had two principals, Mr. Scott, Dr. Scott he was there for maybe I think we had a female, if I'm not mistaken, either before or after him. And he was trying to do some transformative things, but they got rid of him. The school got rid of him. You know what I mean? They didn't want him to do whatever he was trying to implement. Who knows? Austin possibly could have been. Because look, I remember Dr. Scott for being the one that was introducing African principles to the school. He come in wearing the little African garb and, you know what I mean, dashikis and you know, being an influence in that way. You know what I mean? So who knows what he was trying to do? They ain't want to know. So
they ain't like all that.
Yeah.
Too Afrocentric.
That's what I'm saying. So
but he always been like that. When he was my teacher back in the early 80s.
Right. But then he got an opportunity to be a principal and try to influence the youth. And then they told him, get on up out of here with that.
Well, that movie, with, back in the day.
Joe Clark.
Joe Clark. That's what we need. Joe Clark.
Lean on me, Johnson.
Lean on me, yeah.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
What did he say? He picked up the bat and said something.
Call him Batman.
Yeah, call me the Batman.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
That whole down there.
And what principle was have they face decided by, no disrespect, from parents or from activists, when they really want to move the school forward.
Right.
He had gone all his days in life learning to be a professional educator and really promote and advancement for these kids, and somebody wants to challenge him. Who's just there because I don't know, they just want to feel important. A clash.
Yeah. So that's part of it too.
Yeah. In regards to, like you said, when you mentioned that police example, I don't know no police. Lean on.
Dr. Joe Clark, he passed. He passed some years ago, not too long ago, but
that's what they need. And then Dr. Anderson, since we mentioned that, kind of reminded me to not, the way that he really was advocating on behalf of that student body and kids. And knew the parents at home, got to know the community. See, so that was some symbolism there.
The other thing too, how strong is their local school council? Those matter too. You know, those are ones that get to determine who the principal is as well.
Yeah, but are they really, is it really a LSC? No?
Oh, they
I
are.
mean, realistically, other than what we call the propped up LSCs. You know, they're propped up by the principals that's in there.
Pretty much that fine, you know, principal, whoever in that school has to actually ask parents would they mind serving as a board, the LSC group, so under the rules that govern the education system, you gotta have one LSC, it's just on the school, right?
So you got Cassandra Norman is one.
That's
Bernard
a-
Clay.
Clark.
Michelle Clark, yeah.
Well, that's still an exception, you know. In general, again, I'm not disrespectful to parents. Now, tell you I don't have time.
Down, yeah. We got one down at Clark, at GR Clark. Nate is our well, his kids go, so he probably only got maybe about 2 more years, but he's very involved. Nate, and we have another neighbor, Daniel, who's a part of local school council.
I served on Leland when they first come about.
Mm-hmm.
I was representing the community.
Shit, my twin was on Spencer's when his son was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
they can be done.
Well, okay, so LSC is the political side of it. What happened to the PTA?
Some schools still don't have that.
I mean, wouldn't you think it should be a conjunction of?
Wait, what is the PTA?
Parent Teachers Association.
And what do they do?
They're supposed to collaborate on the better behalf of the children.
Well,
best behalf.
Typically, both of them are symbolic of working with the education, like the principal and the staff and all that, for better relationship environment of that whole school.
Okay.
I think in our day of growing up in our field, it was always PTA.
Right. Then it evolved like LSC now. Right?
LSC more political and
right,
but not political only if some people wanted to make it political. When that meant that they want to get rid of the principal.
Okay.
Because they had the authority under the law that they didn't have to offer the principal a contract, so that principal was gone.
But, you know, LSC has been around over 30 years now? Since 90. Yeah, but
see, if your LSC doesn't vote to approve, so their vote to approve mean that principal paid.
Right. But what the principals do once they get in there, they look at who they gotta butter up.
They play favorites. Yeah.
They gotta butter. Who's your child?
Say all of them, but that's
not all of them.
That's the difference in PTA.
Right. PTA is non-political.
No, because I mean,
it looks like on here PTA people are paid though.
Really?
Are they not? I mean,
no.
Okay.
No. I mean, no taxpayers' money is paid.
Right.
Pay. What should it be to pay LSC?
No.
It's a little budget.
Little stipend
for the LSC has.
No, they don't even get a stipend, do they? They just, like you said, the budget or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just saying under that budget that comes to that local school, the LSC has to approve it.
Oh, okay.
You see? And out of that, it's kind of like that's how they do the thing.
Okay.
Steve, I want to say I'm on the PTA out here in Schaumburg with my kids. It's a inside eyesight of what your kids are doing and how the school is run. You have a better outlook at how the school run, the teachers, and everything else. So I'm very involved. So my kids needed special IEPs. So as me evaluating and stuff, the school they was going to originally didn't have a really good setup for IEPs. And I noticed that by, getting involved, and I ended up having to have them transferred to another school that had more IEP, special education classes. So by me, I wouldn't have never knew that if I wasn't involved. So it's parents' engagement, and I went to all the meetings, talked to the teachers, and just see what was going on in the particular schools. So I think they should have PTAs. You know what's going on, what the resources they have for your kids. You know what the budgets are. It's more than just being there, but it's parents and staff, and you don't get paid, but you're very much involved in how that
Right.
system work in that particular school. So I recommend people get into it, because I learned a lot out here in Schaumburg about the PTAs and getting my kids resources, that so much that they try to do an IEP on my daughter, and they didn't tell me that certain diagnoses that the Board of Education don't want to pay for, because they have to pay for special services. And so she has residential, and what they did kept putting her in a therapeutic school, which was not working. So I called Springfield and I said, okay, the IEP, why are they not looking at all her diagnoses? And why they're not paying for her residential? I end up talking to Springfield, and they said, no, they should. They should actually be paying money for her to go to a residential than paying for therapeutic, because it's not helping her. I end up, and they said, and if you have any more problems, we'll get you an advocate and a lawyer. Now my daughter is in residential in Quincy, Illinois. They're paying for it. So
Wow.
if you don't get involved, you would not know.
Well, that's the beauty of the PTA. I mean, they have a lot of power if it's all structured properly. I mean, you're direct. Oh, that's my question. How often do you meet with PTA? Once a month? Once a week?
They have once a month meetings. And I go to them. But then if they have anything else going on, I go to those meetings. So I'm very much involved. So I even got into like hot lunches and different programs so I could stay involved. So I meet all the teachers, know what's going in and out of the schools, surrounded by getting involved in the different activities. So if you get involved, you'll know what's going on in a school and how the money is getting spent, everything, because they give you, when you go to the PTA, they tell you the budget, what the school looking like and what they spent it on and everything else. So it's very informational if you get involved. A lot of parents don't want to take the time out to go to these meetings and get involved. That's a problem, but more parents need to get involved.
Is it fair to say you could be on the PTA and the LSD?
I don't know if they have LSD. I'm only on the PTA here, which the PTA is ran, I guess, a little different, because you can see everything through the PTA out here. Everything.
I think the LSD has more power.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Can I ask you, Miss Barbara, for their meetings, do they have them just during the day, or do they have them in the evening for the parents who work that can't go during the day?
They're all in the evening. Okay. They're at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yep. That's out here. They're at 7 o'clock that you can go and go to the meetings. Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that information for Springfield, who you called?
Because I can give you the number. Yep. I can give you the number, the connection I have. Put your number in the chat, and then I'll text you the information.
I most certainly will.
Yep.
See, with LSD, they like to meet when the teachers or the principal are available doing school working out.
Yeah. I was gonna oh, I'm sorry, Arnold, go ahead, my bad.
I'm bad.
Oh no, I was gonna, because I was listening to the talk. Yeah, so I had joined the local school council. I was gonna say it sounds like what we was doing, and the local school council, was sitting down, looking at the budgets, seeing what money was getting spent towards what things for the kids, what activities they were coming up with. But yeah, it was mostly during like during the school hours and stuff, because my son will always be like walking past in the hallway, and you know, they'll be conducting a local school council meeting. So I would be in there, and then being over there with my son and everything. So yeah, but it sounds like it's similar to what the PTA meetings was. That's all I want to say.
Just it's just that PTA seem like they disappeared in the 90s, and you just don't hear about them anymore. Now, they used to be
they heavy out here. I guess in the suburbs they more structured that way. They heavy out here. Every school out here have a PTA meeting. Every one.
They have like a president of the PTA and all that.
Yep. I actually was going to run to be a president of the PTA. I mean, they actually have elections. So I could have been a president, but then my kids transferred school, and that's the only reason I didn't get in that particular school PTA. So you could be each school will have their own president. Each have their whole board for each school out here.
Well, let me ask you this. Do the PTA, what I want to say, do they have the power to bring the principal in and all that kind of stuff out there?
Oh,
No. Mm-mm. Nope. But what they do is go every like I think in May they have a big meeting in Springfield with all the PTA people. And they bring it to Springfield and they have a big conference. And then they bring the stuff back. Yeah. But no, they don't make the that, but they make sure that the principal doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, we need the involvement. That's what we need. Let's be serious about it. The more the parents are involved, the better off it is for the schools, the students, and everybody else. But the parents are they're the home teachers. They're the teachers at home, you know. The school system is just there for the 6 to 8 hours of the day. Is it 8 hours? They're not there 8 hours. 6 hours out of the day. Something like that. 9 to 2. Something like that.
I mean, some principals are assistant principals. They haven't been there quite a few hours. I'm particularly get there about 7. Lucky to get home before 7. That's the way I was there.
I was just speaking about the students. But the students and the teachers got to do this. Principals, that's a whole other thing. They're the captain of the ship. You expect them, they got to do whatever they got to do to keep the ship going, afloat.
They're in charge of the whole business.
The maintenance and everything.
Yeah. Everybody reports to the principal.
Well, I can just tell you this. They've had, in my experience of Chicago public schools, which is about almost 60 years, they've had how many strikes? 4. One, I was my senior year of high school, and I was like, why they got strike? They just been threatening this for the last 15 years, but never have they done this. They had a strike, it didn't last long, it was not even 4 days. That's back when Jackie Vaughn, Jackie Vaughn was she was the union, school board union lady. Everybody's like Jackie Vaughn. But that year, and then in the, I want to say in the 2000s, they had 3 strikes, didn't they? Karen Lewis. Yeah.
They had 2 of them.
One, Leifer was the board. I mean, was the mayor, and then one under Rahm.
Right. Karen Lewis was under Rahm.
Right.
The late Karen Lewis.
Yeah. So I think they've had at least 4 strikes in over 50 years. I don't think there was no such thing as a strike prior to that.
Well, it's all a budget matter, so.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, it's about money.
Well, I mean, Because when people say budget, they don't say, well, you know, it's a budget matter, as if it's everything's good. You know, you got a good budget, you got bad budget. But typically when you bring up the word budget, it ain't good.
Well, they're lobbying in Springfield to get more money as always.
Well, let's talk about that. How do you get more money?
Well, the last of the COVID money that can be used for other causes expires at the end of next year. At the end of next year. Now that money.
I'm so tired of grandma's little pension nest egg that was sitting over in a little chest, wrapped in her stockings, put in a mattress, buried in the backyard money, rainy day. I'm so tired of that. What that money you can that ain't no lifetime money. We got a lifetime to correct. So we always bring up COVID money. I mean, it doesn't even make sense to talk about that.
Well, but it's stopping the whole conversation of what? Raising tax. Raising tax.
Well, okay, let's talk about that part of it. Taxes has been raising exponentially for the last 50 plus years, uncontrolled. Let's just be real with that. On the other side of the coin, wages have not been going the same way.
I get that, but if you're an elected official and you look forward to being re-elected, your chances of re-election somewhat lessens when you talk about raising what? Taxes.
That's a fact.
So now, that's it in a nutshell. There's nothing else to really who you can blame on or who, you know, because who's gonna advocate more taxes for education? Is it Springfield or is it Chicago? That's the only two sources right now that can determine the budget for the city of Chicago. Pay the teachers, you know, what they're asking for this next budget.
Let's just be real about taxes. When you inject taxes into any equation, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It's just reality. I mean, most of the time they don't even tell you when they're gonna tax you. They just take that money. You know, it's like a pickpocketer. It ain't like they pull a gun on you and say, "Get it up." They just take it out your pocket when you ain't even looking.
Whoever's the elected official, when it becomes known that the who people may want to blame for the increase in cost, which is taxes.
Right.
That's, you know, all other stuff, we get that. But someone has to be the face and the name and the voice of advocating for a tax increases of more cost.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't get any simpler than that. Now, who wants? Do you see JB talking about? I'm gonna give. You see, I've already given. For the current mayor, advocating. Well, you know, for the election coming up, what, about 2 years?
2.5.
See, and that's what it's all about right now, money. Now, he got this money he can use for one time, because it'll be gone, like you say, Steve, after next year, it'll be gone.
But shit, but they
Shit, we done spent so much with the migrant thing. Do we got anything left? Seriously?
Well, and remember, the state kicked in, and the county
And the
kicked
band
in,
and the federal government.
and the federal government, and see, the city had to come up with $70 million. There's only so much money.
They just passed, what was it, 40? About a month ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just gave 40 more.
Bertie's got a hand up. What you got, Bertie?
You know what, Arnold was talking about, somebody needs to be the face of say that, you know, the taxes are being raised. Maybe somebody needs to explain to people where the taxes have gone when they talking about, before they start talking about raising taxes. Let people know how their money was spent. it might have a different taste in their mouth when you start asking for more money. But when you just constantly asking for money and raising taxes and people don't know, who want to get their money for something and they don't even know where the other money went? That makes no sense.
I mean,
You can look up.
see, we see it being spent.
I mean, you can look up government spending though. So that's the thing. You can always look up and see where the government has allocated funds for each year. So like you could go to the website and look it up. And that's gonna tell you exactly what they did with the money. So
But you have a lot of grandparents who are raising their grandchildren who have no access to computers or don't know how to work them. So why can't these people who's running for office, who's asking for this money, help the people? I know a
because
lot of,
that age range ain't the market makers anymore. It's
but
the
they're the
people.
voters. They're the voters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have to do that when they know, like as DeAndre is always saying, that they give you a turkey, you gon' vote. So it's like if we as the people don't do our due diligence to figure out who's the best person to vote for or vote for our personal reasons, then once they get in and they do stuff, then we can't turn around and say, well, we didn't know. That's the problem. That's always been the problem.
Good point. Especially when this election season that we got, there are a lot of judges on the ballot. We ain't even went over them judges.
We got judges on the ballot?
Yeah, some judges on there. Sure.
I know we didn't
even talk about some of these.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's on.
So everybody's just calling, Illinois is what they call that state. Ours are not a battleground state. Just give it. What do you call it? Swing, not a spring.
Swing. Yeah, we're not a swing state.
Right.
Yeah.
We just, hey, just give it to them. Whoever out there, give it to them.
Well, you got some referendums on the ballot.
Man, we got a lot of stuff on the ballot actually.
And in certain precincts and certain wards, there's a referendum on the ballot, and there may be an additional tax, SSA or whatever you want to call it, that then, there's a referendum on the ballot that voters in that precinct or geographical area get weigh in on. So it's a lot of information.
Yeah, I want to say to Ms. Bursa's point about folks being able to break it down. Honestly, they don't know where it's going. Yeah, we got to be honest with ourselves. We have a lot of people that run for public office that don't know how to balance a checkbook. So if you're talking about people that don't know how to balance a checkbook, you're not gonna find too many of them that's gonna run, that's gonna actually understand taxes and the allocations of it.
Well, let's be real about it. They know how to balance the checkbook, but they know how to steal some extra money too.
Nah. I mean, nah. I'm gonna say they don't know how to balance, but they know how to steal some money.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna take that back too, because they always get caught. So no, they don't know how to steal money either. No, they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they don't.
They think they know.
I would like to ask any of the callers or the two of you guys here, if you know of any politician that's elected, that's in office now, and with the election coming up, to be out, reasonably next week or two, saying I'm to raise tax.
Yeah, no.
Do you know of anyone?
That's a death
So I'm just asking.
That's for sure.
So
Your political coffin.
that pretty much tells you.
Probably Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel.
Even if they were to explain it for this or that cause, they need it. Now, there is, we talk about taxes, tips, those are tax increment finance.
Yeah.
Two of them are going to be resetting, and that is not resetting, that is a Harrison, Central, reasonably in a couple years, but the Madison also.
I would say Madison, yeah.
Madison Austin. Now and why is that important? So that determines anyone that's living or business reside or in that area, their taxes will likely increase, which means if they're business and they sell goods and services, it will be a higher cost to the consumer who will purchase the goods and services. And if they live in an area, that means the tax is not frozen. There may be a slight increase since we talk about taxes to their property tax.
Damn.
So now we hopefully we'll bring that information to you by next week.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So, you know, on the show, you guys often talk about, you know, elderly people maybe being behind the curve when it comes to like computers and things like that. Is there something? Is there some type of conversations you guys can have with the people that's in power to say, hey, we got to bring the older generation up to speed with technology? Is it something like that can happen?
It's funny you should say that. I'm going to bring this up again. Back in 2001, 2, or something like that, I had a sit-down conversation with Congressman Davis. And I told him, you know, we got a big problem, Congressman. We have this thing called the digital divide. And the digital divide is literally what it is. In our communities, Black people are so far behind when it comes to being astute and understanding, let's just say savvy, not even astute, with utilization and having access to computers. It was so bad that at the local library, which is the North Avenue Library in Austin, people had to wait 7 days to get on the sign a list, come in 7 days to get on the computers they had. So I said to him, we need to reach out to all these big computer, you know, companies, Microsoft and what have you, and see if they would invest in doing something on a block by block case. Now, did everybody on the block have to have a computer? Maybe not. Maybe just the block club leader would. This is back then, when we didn't even have cell phones like we got them now. You know, there was no smartphone. So I said maybe they could just discount the computers out, and then we could do trainings and get people, you know, trained and use them. But I said it's really difficult because in the future, the older people are gonna miss out because they're already paying bills online. I have been paying my bills since 97 online. So I'm like, what are older people gonna do when they can't pay their bills? So he just kind of said, yeah, okay, I'm gonna look into it. And, well, what came out of it was they call it the
what do you call it? Technology
technology initiative.
Yeah.
And that came out about 4 or 5 years later. You know.
Shit, I thought 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, no, I got involved with it. It's been over 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So many of the local libraries will allow for you to come in once you become a member or get a
Library card, yeah.
To learn about computers, because I read it in the community paper. So, in answer to some of your concern about accessibility of the seniors, and the other part of it is the individual, him or herself, has to want to take the initiative to don't be afraid of getting on the computer, because it's going to be a need to learn and understand this technology.
I'll say this, look, we always talking about the Latin community and how they are moving. They recently put I think it's right on Grand in like 4400 block of Grand, called St. Joseph, something or other. I can't remember. I was at the launching. Well, they have, not only do they have English as a second language classes going on there, they also have computer literacy going on there. And what's our sister's name? Venus. Venus and her husband would always be like, "No, DeAndre, we can't meet tonight. We got class." You know, because they were going over there and learning about computers. And I say that to say, we don't have that in Austin, man. Like, what the hell is going on, man? Like,
it's crazy because we literally talk about the same thing. We know what the issues exist, but we don't have anything that is actually supporting that issue right But now. we can move on that.
So,
I mean, one of the things I've been thinking about is this is a big one. There's a couple of things I've been thinking about trying to push. This is a big one. Housing for the FUBUs, for us, by us. Housing. How do we get affordable, economical housing for us? And it just dawned on me, you know what? We got to go to the powers that be. We got to go to the government. And we got to get them to say, hey, if we could set up a program, we can get housing for us in our areas or wherever we want to be. That would be a great thing because everybody has to have housing. And why not make it affordable and get people in? It could be done. It might be a boarded up house, but so what? Get a boarded up house. You get it for a little nothing, put a little money into it. Now you got what you want. Live there and be a viable component to the community.
I just thought of maybe a somewhat answer to the caller's question. Since our elected officials here on the west side have their organization, West Side Elected Officials, a letter can be drafted to Congressman Davis and Alderman indicating the areas based upon the concerns that has come up and about in the community to address and maybe answer these concerns. Would that be okay, caller? Since these elected officials, do they legislative bodies can come up with a resource to look at identifying a technology center somewhere in some geographical area? I don't know. I mean, everybody gonna need it.
So then the reason will probably be, but they old, they ain't got transportation.
Well, I'm just saying, take into account of that as well. Just like people go to Oak Street, a cab to get them and bring them back.
Yeah. I only say that to say, it's always like when it comes again, you can go like even with using technology. Apple allow you to go to their workshops. Like Apple have workshops at the Apple shop that you could just get to and learn about how to use technology. So I'm just saying it's a bunch of different things, but it seems like when it comes to us, it's always some reason why it just can't happen for us. And it's like just I don't know, be crazy, man.
Well, to your point, Twin, is this. When you said, we start talking about seniors and the sort, why can't they do the things or manage, like we want them to do? When I was talking about the seniors, you got to remember, that was 25 years ago. I'm talking about people that was born in the 30s, 40s.
Right.
Now we're talking about older people. These people born in the 60s and 70s.
Well,
So
73. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, look, he said he's 73 and he still has me age.
So it boils down to will to or want to.
Communication thing, because I just learned just now at Apple jobs. I didn't know. I got that on my to-do list for tomorrow to find out where they at. Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay. So that's why we don't need. That's how we have these conversations.
That's why I said communication is a great thing.
Yeah, but the best thing is that you put it out there. It's a lot of elderly adults that might be ashamed that they don't know how to do something, so they don't want to ask for the help. And it's like especially if it's people like that's what like a show like this is for. It's for people to get on and maybe put out. You could toss out stuff, say, "Hey, I want to learn this," or "I want to learn this." And I'm pretty sure because it's younger people, it might be somebody on there that could. Oh, okay, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. It's but like you said, if you don't ask, you won't know.
Well, yeah, that's true. Because I had my granddaughter, her mother wasn't here, and I had to help her with her math homework. I was about to call DeAndre, and somebody called me blessed, because I had no idea what to do with that new math they doing. So he helped her. Thank God.
Oh yeah, I still call DeAndre to help my kids with their homework. Yes, I do.
Dr. Rudy.
Man, that's it.
Hey, that's how it goes. If everybody can just help a little bit, that's all it takes. Just a little bit of help. But yeah, but back to what my proposal is gonna be was what Arnold just said, is to push how do we get FUBU housing for us, by us? I mean, in our communities. I mean, this is
Man, only way we gonna do it, Steve, is we got to get somebody that got money that could come in and buy the community, and that's the only way. That's the only way. Somebody will have to be a developer. You have to be a land developer in order to get it the way you're looking at it. Like otherwise, it's not gonna happen because if somebody of a different race comes out and buy that property, they're going to buy it for their race. And that's just how it's going to go. They're not going to be looking at this property and say, well, I'm going to include people because the first thing they're going to do, they're going to look around and say, okay, the first thing we're going to do is raise the rents up. And what that's going to do is knock out the people in the area that's already in there. So if it's not going to be an African-American that you're going to champion and have them come in as a land developer, it's going to be very tough.
But much of the properties that they're getting are coming off the list that the federal government has, the HUD list. So what's that about? You tell me that the federal government is being biased and racist?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, what? Give me?
Absolutely.
The whole system is racist.
On the real. And the only reason we call it racism is because Black people can't be racist because there's no system that we can create that's going to put other people out. But it's this whole system systemically that was created to keep us out. So that's the definition of racism. So, of course, the federal government, but that's why I say I love money because it don't have a color. And if you got the money, the federal government say, here you go. That's just how it works.
Excellent point. So then we should be able to come after the federal government with a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, good luck with that. Because they're gonna tell you don't have any basis. You're just basing that on hyperbole. And again, if it's somebody I don't know, like I'm pretty sure there's Black land developers, but I don't know a lot of them, right? And I was actually looking up this guy. He's like the world richest African American, and you know what he was saying. He was saying that he said he loved America because America was the land of opportunity that you can be whatever you want to be in your wildest dreams. And he said he loved America. So I'm just saying, like, we got to get people who have that mentality, but understand that it's a system and it's a game. You got to be willing to play the game to get to the other side of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge, which is, again, the reason why I said I'm focusing on psychology more than anything now, is the mindset. Our people are really stuck in what we consider in psychology a learned helplessness, where each time you're knocked down, you believe that this is the only height that you can attain. You know, it's no different than the experiment with a flea. You put a flea in a jar, a flea can jump 2 feet high, but you put a jar on it and it's going to keep hitting its head. After a while, it's only going to jump but so high. You open the jar up, right, it'll still jump only as high as it used to jump. And that's what's happening to us. We're conditioned to believe that there are low opportunities, that our lives are almost meaningless, and that we can't escape this situation that we're in, when the reality is there is opportunity. It's much more difficult than anybody else's path. That's for damn sure. Whether you want to talk about migrant folks coming in or people of lighter hues, it does not matter. The road is going to be that much more difficult, but it's there and you can, but you're going to have to remove all of the mental shackles that you have on you before you can even start to think that you can be successful here. And that's where we are stuck currently.
Well, it's always said the starving man has more ambition than the man that's eating every day.
For sure. For sure.
He gotta try to take care of his hunger situation.
Right.
Yeah, see, but the biggest issue though is living in a free land like America, it creates this illusion that we are in fact where we want to be in life. So because you got these people that's coming from places where they might have to eat bugs for dinner, but see, we get to eat McDonald's, we get to, like, it's a choice. Like every time I was talking to one of the young boy I work with, and he was just like, yeah, man. So I put my 15% up, and so I use that, but you know what? It's not enough. It's not enough. And I said, what you mean? He said, well, because it's not enough to buy the stuff that I really want. And I said, oh, that's because you're doing it backwards. I said, the 15% that you're putting up, you should be using it as your freedom. Like, you should be thinking of it as, I'm not going to touch this until I get to a point where I'm building my nest egg. I said, use the 85% of your paycheck to buy whatever you want. And I only say that to say, the thing is, the more money we make, the more we automatically just spend. Right? Like, we don't have to spend. I'm talking about African Americans. We don't have to. We have a choice, but we still would do it anyway. There's a lot of people that got, refrigerators is full of food, but they'll still go to McDonald's because they don't want to take the time to cook it, right? So it's like when we making these choices, on the opposite side, our competitors, which are people that's not our color, they're going to be looking at it like, wait till I get that job. I'm not going to be buying all this expensive stuff or fancy stuff or even eating out. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit on this. I'm going to wait 3 to 5 years. I'm going to go buy property, and then I'll be a landlord. Then I'll be the Lord of my land, right? But we don't have that, because from day one, when we come out of here, whether people look at it like this or not, we have so much privilege to move and do what we want to do. We still choose the lesser of the resistance. Yeah, I don't got to cook when there's a McDonald's up the street, because it's just easier. And that's literally how we have it in America as Black people. We do have it easy, but it's hard at the same time, right? Somebody else just looking at it like, nah, it's just been hard my whole life. So they don't have to.
Yeah. It's all about the sacrifice, right?
You got to sacrifice.
I wonder what the slaves used to say.
Shit, get to work. That's it. Get to work. What you over there dreaming for? You know you ain't supposed to be dreaming. You better get back to work. For Master come in here, he see you talking about freedom. And see what I'm saying? We was talking about it back then. Once we got it, this is what we choose to do. We choose to rent out apartments because we keep saying, oh, I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to deal with that. But we know that if you own and rent apartments, that you get tax advantages. But then we get mad at the person who get the tax advantages because we keep saying, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's
same
like
thing in the LLC. Spend a little time, create a little LLC. Take the time.
Booksy Watson?
No, sir. I don't know. It was unnamed Black man because they said it was a white man.
What?
Yeah, they always said it was a white man that created college. Definitely a Black man, but it was attributed to a white man.
Well, that's I was getting ready to say that the slave party told the other slaves, hey man, quit dreaming about building a cotton gin.
Eli Whitney.
Eli Whitney, yeah.
But that's a white man though, that's a lie.
I'm thinking about George Washington Carver with Peanut.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they sitting there talking about Eli Whitney created the cotton gin. Yeah, let me make something so these niggas could work more efficiently. Come on, man.
Take them off of this. So they don't
to
have do this anymore.
Man, ain't working, man. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to hop off. But
yeah,
thank
we
you.
get ready to close out, Bertie.
Huh?
Ready to close out. It's at the top of the hour. We get ready to close out.
Oh, okay.
tired today. I am tired.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and start spinning around the room. Go ahead, Bert.
Yeah, but what you got
Yeah.
for us? I ain't talked to you in a long time. Good to hear you.
Yeah, it was great to be here today. The conversation was really great. I thank y'all. I thank Miss Barbara for that information she gave, and Mr. himself for the information you gave, and everybody else who contributed to this conversation. DeAndre, I'm gonna call you this week because to get some stuff for the 15th district. Steve, I'm gonna have to talk to you as well. But you all have a great week. Thank you so much.
All right now. All right. Barry Corin, where you been? Barry Corin, how you been? What you got for the conclusion?
Hey guys,
Hey, Barry.
good show, good conversation. I agree with Bertha. And I think there are a lot of resources around and opportunities everywhere, but we need to organize so that we're continually building. You know, we talk a lot about a lot of stuff on the show, you know, like the school. That was a good conversation. But if we're going to really make a difference with the school, we need someone who's going to continue to work on that. Otherwise, it's just gets wasted. And I hate to waste stuff. So thank you again. Good conversation.
Sound like a plan. Got to get somebody in the what we call the gap or the wedge. And I forgot what the term is in the military. The point. We got to get somebody at the point.
At the point for one thing, and then somebody else for another thing, and we just keep getting point people, and then we coordinate and help each other. So we move it all along. And there's, like Brian said, there are tremendous opportunities everywhere. We just got to
That's Deontay.
organize. Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant to say.
All right. Twin already said something. Miss Houston, what you got?
Great conversation. I'm still puzzled about the school board and our mayor and what's going on with that. So it all
Mary was on here. Mary Gardner, she got a lot more insight to that.
She was on?
She was on, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And because she wanted me and DeAndre to do something regarding a lot of this, but I don't know if I got time for it. But I need to see what's what. Yeah. Yeah, we need some point people, y'all. We gotta get point people. It's over. We need people in education, we need people in housing, we need people in public safety. Hey, go figure. The 3 pillars of Northwest Austin Council that was developed 52 years ago because the community was changing. Half a century ago, the issues were there. And look at them now. Same 3 issues: public safety, housing, and education. All right, what you got? Arnold stepped out, but let me just say to everybody, appreciate everybody coming on today. It was a very good day today. The weather was great yesterday and so forth and so on. I think we're going to have a mild winter as we have in the last few years. And I can live with that. I mean, let's keep it rolling, y'all. Let's just try to utilize, like Barry said, what we got to help somebody, to help the situation. I mean, we try to build a movement. And with a movement, all you're doing is just gently caressing it, doing what you do every day, but just do a little bit more towards the movement. And that's to keep it alive in a positive direction and make those changes gradually with the help of everybody.
Right.
You know?
So I'll say this, this is a quote. My man himself, love this guy to death right here, Zig Ziglar. Y'all don't know, y'all should get in tune with Zig. But he said, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you're determined to learn, no one can stop.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this, everything that we talk about, this information that we put out, got to go and learn. You know what I mean? And it's there for you. We're in the information age. Yeah. Everybody got one of these smart things in their pocket now. So there's no excuse.
Didn't have it 20 years ago.
No excuse.
Didn't have it 25 years ago. No.
Yeah. Either way, y'all know how we do between the hours 6 and 8 on Sunday. We bring you the Northwest Officer Council. You know, West Side folks talk the West Side thing. Right. There's various ways you can interact with the show: Facebook, YouTube, Zoom. If you're on the Facebook or YouTube, just type a comment in the comment section. You see it, we can bring in the show that way. Otherwise, if you're on that Zoom, you're writing the show, you come off mute, keep it discreet with your speech. Otherwise, we got to mute your boost. You know, we got to be a family over here. So with the new setup, we like to say, you know, we got some nice comfy couches over here for y'all to sit in. So we just trying to welcome y'all on home. Thank y'all for allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin Council.
Good night, y'all. NAC. Hey, we're going to have the first annual NAC book fair in November. It's going to be November 9th, 1 to 4. So if you wrote a book or know anybody wrote a book, let them know. We're starting to compile all of our authors in the libraries and everybody else.
I've been trying to get some. I got a book that I actually just did a foreword to. One of my guys wrote a book about the black male experience.
Okay.
You know, giving out some tips and stuff like that. He a life coach, man.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Good night.
So I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna bring
Good night.
Good night.